Good morning. It's a new Monday, a fresh week, March 26, 2018, doing Spell Adventure, a game dev. We're just kicking back. Nicholas and I, the only two people doing making this game, just a two-man show here. We had a meeting over the weekend. We got together. We hung out for about 4 to 5 hours, probably almost 5 hours, about 4 hours, I think. And got the level design down for the first half of the Temple of Light, just so we could develop the basic level flow, level design, and puzzle design for it as well. So those were a pretty big deal. We got all that in. So without further ado, with a little further ado, I'm going to be mixing a little bit of coffee in a second. About 2 minutes. But I did get a significant amount done last night for a few hours. Nicholas implemented the actual light puzzle implementation, which was fan-freaking-tastic, let me tell you. Alright, so let's see. Cool, got the light here. So we don't have any sound effects in. I'm not going to be getting them in yet. Light spell. So we have a little light bubble around there. So that opens up, and then it opens the door. Ta-da! Bing, bang, boom, you're pretty much done. Check that out. So as long as the light ray casts to the front, there's a collider box on that little medallion there on the actual statue. And if it hits all four corners of the nearest face, then that is what you are looking at. Very cool. We have the bubbles, so it helps make it very accurate what you have to do. Put that in. That doesn't work. Doesn't work. Something's wrong with the brazier, everyone. Let's go and check this out. So the brazier should auto light. Let me see here. Oh, it didn't save. Damn. There we go. So this should work now. Okay, so the whole thing, yep, the whole room lit up. Okay, so what we want is we want this to be a light puzzle source. Alright, let's see if that works. Oh, son of a bitch. Let's see. Yeah, because something messed up. I had to stash my changes, so it messed up yesterday while I was working, and it didn't save one of my important changes here. Which was, it's in blend files. has like spines on the side. There we go. So it's just a single glass enclosure. I like that a lot better. Go ahead and save that. There we go. So now there's no lines. Basically completely fills the entire room. So it should go all the way out to there, but it is not. Not. Right, let me see. Let me see if like if the distance is still a factor here. Yeah. So it should technically be touching him, reaching him rather. So, but this works, right? Oh. Interesting. Alright, let me save. I'll be right back. Okay, so what we're doing here, we are trying to figure out what the HE double hockey sticks is going on. What this distance? It might just be a Wait a minute, let me check this. Let me try that. Might have something to do with that sphere collider. Let's see. I doubt it, but yeah, I didn't think so. Huh. Yeah, the sphere collider goes out to there. The light is out to there as well. Ooh. it's really strange. I don't know why that's not working. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this. We need animations, Guardian of Light. Alright. Nice. Okay, so we're going to re-topologize this entire room, but first we're just going to set up these puzzles because they're very important to set up. Make sure we have no overlap, make sure we're doing it right. Doing it and doing it and doing it right. Alright, right there. These are just barren. Put everything in later. Okay, so we have these, we have that, we have this, and we have that, and this, and these, and should just do rooms. Now this. Bad bit rate. This will suffer from the same thing. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh whoops. Oh whoopsie whoops. Super on the same angle. You should be. Just rearranging these dudes. Cool. Okay. Now I take each of these statues. Okay, and then I'm gonna re-topologize this entire room so that they're up, so that they're kind of indented in this like a big area here, like a large arch. That way their wings have room expand, but they're also like these beautiful, majestic things that are supposed to be there. I'll also probably just close off these rooms here, just make them solid walls. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that so the door needs both of those to open. Let's see if this works. The puzzle requires both of these color light puzzle. Ah. Window 2. Okay, let's see. Friggin' awesome. Oh, he did such a good job. God damn. God, I'm so proud. Nicholas did such a good job with that. Open that up. So that light should work on that, but it is not. Let me see. I'm wondering why it does not work on it. So the brazier's here, the second brazier. So this one's going to be broken. I'm going to put it on the ground, put a rough something in front of it, so that's fine. Actually, I know what to do with this. I'm just curious why it's not working. So it should be a light puzzle source. Let's go back up to this one as well. Okay, I'm just gonna take a pic of this and show Nick what's going on. So it doesn't have to be static, does it? Let me see. What are you saying? What are you telling me? Screw you, man. Spells, casted light puzzle source. You put it on the casted lights themselves, which makes sense. Has a sphere collider. Oh wait, no, I don't know. Let me see if that's something to do with the casted light script being on it. So I would like this to work. That's it. It's the casted light script being on it. Okay. Alright, so that's what that is. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take this entire room, destroy it. just needs to cast a light script on him. Wonder if we can make that. Well, we don't want it so it's infinite anyway. He wants it so that you can't. So it doesn't just save the state whenever you leave the temple, which makes sense. That's fine. So if things are on timers, then you can hide them in plain sight in between moving from one place to another, right? Meaning that if you light these braziers and they're on forever, then the player goes through the temple and he or she's able to go back through the temple again in the future. That's just the fun of temples. So the other thing too is that you come through here, the Spellmaster in the very beginning gives you, this is the room, the Spellmaster in the very beginning gives you access to the light spell, okay, which is how you're getting through here in the first place. So then there's going to be other areas while you go through this temple where then later on in the game when you get other spells, then you can come back through here and then proceed through different doorways, different passageways, different hallways, different rooms, because you have these new spells that you can then use to go, like we have a haste spell in which doubles your speed, which then doubles your jump distance. So we already have planned in a room here where it will turn with, you have the light spell and you're going to keep going through here and you'll turn to the right and you'll go through a light spell, like a light door. But if you would continue ahead, if you had a haste spell, there's a giant chasm that you're able to cast haste and then run and jump across it. But you can't do that until you have the haste spell later on. And then you have more spells as you play the game, and then the temples are kind of branch out like that. It's like temples are more like a tree or a bush as far as like the map is concerned, the top-down topographical map. So that's where things like save states come in, right? So, for instance, let's put it this way. If I am playing the game and I cast a light spell here, don't worry about those dudes animating. I cast a light spell here, and then it lights there, it lights those guys up, and then I continue through the door. If this stays on forever, this light, and the player knows that this stays on forever, and they leave the temple and come back later, this light should still be on. Right? If it's not, it's discombobulating, it's weird, it's like, why did that shut off? Oh, because it's a game, right? So take yourself out of that, oh, it's just a game, and instead put these on a timer. So they're on 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever. And then whenever they go out, they go out. So the player knows whenever he or she sees this one go out, these first ones go out. Uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. I'll have to have, we'll have to put something special in there. Anyway, the player knows that whenever they see that go out for the first time, oh, these all go out. They all go out. So Nicholas, as the coder, that's one less thing that he has to code in to save the state for all of these temples, because these are going to be different scenes. This temple's a scene, the overworld is a scene. Actually, the overworld's going to be multiple scenes. So each temple is a scene. So then whenever Nicholas, the player, goes through, Nick can save the state of things like doors that are open, items that are collected, but that's the lights that are on is just one less thing that he has to save the state of. So that's one good thing. So that's why we're doing things on timers. It's a very long-winded way of explaining that. So how we got the point across. So we have this, so now what we're going to do here is go to the brazier. Nice. Nice. So this brazier is going to be fallen over. Basically broken. It has no bottom. I wasn't anticipating bottoms needed to be there. Whoops. Nice. Can't even. Okay, good. So we have to do. Nice. And these open up. You can go through. You fall to your death. Goodbye, world. And I'm falling forever. Okay, that's pretty cool. Alright, let's take a look at what we had as well. Okay. Cool. Alright, now let's take a look at the level design that we had here. There we go. Ah, yes. Alright. So, I thought not. Pretty good. Then I come in later on and put any kind of polish I want on these. I can remove the floors, change the floors, make them different. There's just all kinds of things you can do that I will end up doing. Like the rooms will be different. I don't really like these. I mean, like look at the walls. You know, look at the topography on these walls. Like the UVs are small. The UVs are big on the ceilings. Like it needs to be at least double. Things like that. So, because the sense of scale just isn't there. But it doesn't matter. That's not. It's not a huge deal. What matters, number one, is the game design itself, the level flow, and the level design. So we're going to continue working on that. Okay, room of threes is room. Okay. Now is the fun parts. So we're gonna put Blender. Okay, now we're gonna want a wall. This is just going to get exported. It's the origin of this geometry. We're going to move this up to the red. Actually, that'll do pretty nicely. And then we're going to extrude and bring it out. Recalculate it. Mark the seams. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. We're not going to save that as it is. What we're going to do is export this as an OBJ. Selection only, we're not going to save this because it's a separate thing. OBJs. Good, that's all I got. Cool, minimize that. Rooms, we're going to want raws, here we are. Oh, we got barrels and stuff, that's cool. Modals. OBJs, and then we'll grab it and pull it in. Boom. Where we at? Wall, right here. Boom. Love it. Love it. And then grab these stone. Some marble. It's a really bad marble one. dot here. Let me see. Actually, I can bring this over. Alright, so we have, there's the system here, brazier, fallen brazier, two braziers with the walls, but one is working, one is not. Okay. Nice. Alright, so this guy gets to stay. Oh. Give me the whole damn brazier, baby. Wall is gigantic. Okay, 0.5. There we go. Let's try this. So the wall, we're just gonna get rid of that. Bring a new one in. There we go. That's better. That's what we want. That is what we want. It's a little better. Cool. Then we'll grab this. We need a brazier. Let's grab another one. Let's do this. So brazier. Broke. Brazier work. Rotation. I believe that's it. Yeah, there you go. Which means looks about right. There we go. Okay, should work as intended, I think. Okay, works that. Let's keep it. there's something off with the distances here. It's not really working as far as like distances are concerned. Save that. Anytime you add something new like this, like a big system, there's a chance for a lot of things to go wrong. So it's okay to encounter things like this. Oh, I know why. Because there's no collider box here. Box collider, that's why, box collider. So the light ray has to reach out and hit the box collider on it. That's why. There we go. One. Weird. Okay, so let's check this. So this should. There we go. See, so the light is about hitting that box collider. So that one's on. Oh no, I'm out of mana. Lame. Alright. There we go. So that works. There we go. Yeah, some angles aren't working, but otherwise, so far so good. It's doing pretty good. I think he put mana in. Let's. Just put collectible here. Okay, very cool. So we got potions of mana. Nice. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so that's good. Already experiencing an issue. Not enough mana. Here we go, go through. Weird, man. Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. distance thing? I'm not really sure. Alright, cool, we got potions. Nice. Plus 20 mana. No, plus 50. Alright, so you're on. Just taking pics so you can see. Alright, cool, then this one goes through. Alright, cool. Yeah, so it's just an angle thing, I think. It's the vast majority of it works. It works enough for me to actually have a pretty good time going through it. Okay, now, the next one is, okay, so the next one is pretty fun. So, chasm, bridge. I don't know how we're gonna be able to do this with the distance. Hey, babe. One sec. Okay, apologies, apologios. Okay, so the issue here is that we have to build up this room. Okay, so we did this one just now. Now we have to build up this one. So this guardian statue is in an enclosed space. So this is a pit, this is a bridge going across, and this is an enclosed space here that you cannot access. These two little lines here, vertical, are a slit in that wall that the light has to pass through that slit and reach that guardian. So this is going to be very difficult with for two reasons. Number one is the radius of the light. I think the way that we have it is too short for it to pass through that slit. And number two is I think the bug that we're experiencing just won't, the ray will not hit all the corners of it. I just don't think it's going to work with the two issues we're having. Oh, hey, Six. My mic is really crappy. Let me get a little closer. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? I don't know if it's going to work. I might just be speaking too low as well. I have a tendency to mumble. I really shouldn't mumble. It's really starting to bum me out. Okay, let's remember here. Let's see if we can make this work. Let's just see if we can make this work. Whoop. Damn. Might be the music as well. Might also be the music. Let me turn that off. Ta-da. Yeah. How about now? How about that? Can you hear me there? I turned the mic up a little bit on my OBS software. Actually, I turned it up significantly. Let me see if that works. Okay, cool. Yeah, my apologies. Sorry about that. Okay. So we have an issue here. You can barely hear me. So let's see. So the issue is twofold. So we went through room number 1. Actually, let's show you what's going on here. Alright. So we got a light spell. So we're just testing this out. We're setting these up. So the light from the brazier reaches these two guardians. Actually, it reaches the medallions on their chest. And whenever both of those are open, like when both of those are activated and they animate, then the door opens. And you can pass through. So then this one is broken, can't use it. So what you have to do is activate them manually. Well, manually meaning you have to go up to them and activate them each with a light spell, and then this one opens. And you get mana potions. I gotta change that, it's not 20 mana, it's 50. So then this one has 2 walls. So that one opens up, pretty nice. Then if you were to come around here, this one's broken. So you have to activate this one manually. But we're experiencing, there we go. That's weird. That's strange. I'm gonna check out the collision box on that medallion and see what's going on. 2 more. Okay. So the radius on that is pretty short. The radius on those little lights is pretty small. The skybox is crap. The skybox is just like the basic skybox that comes with Unity. I didn't put it in here yet because I'm just testing out, but we have it so that it changes it to a solid black one. Let me show you. What is it? We got a trigger there. Change skybox. Change skybox trigger. We're going to change it to jet black. Oh wait, we gotta do it. Let me check this here. There we go. Alright, so if we do that, it'll do this. When I grab this spell, skybox, change to black, just to keep us underground. And there we go. Now we're completely enclosed in blackness. So those open up. There's no sound effects on them yet, no particle effects, nothing. Except on the medallions. Yeah, might have to just do that longer. I think that's probably what we'll do. Yeah, so it's a slight left. Okay, so it's something about that. It might be, let me double check this. Let me double check the So I have it downward. Why would it be doing that? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it should work. That should work. That should work exactly, and I don't know why it's not. Let me bring in... I mean, I know that whenever Nicholas gets his hands on it, he'll be able to tell me exactly what's going on. He'll be able to fix it probably ASAP. Lickety split. Alright, blade puzzle source. We both are. We're both level designers. We've designed like just the overall game. I work on narrative, art. This is just kind of, we're still kind of white boxing it. We had a really high poly version of a level, but it was just too much. So we've very recently begun to kind of just re-topologize everything. Made new doors, new mechanics, new systems. So I designed some, he designed some, then we get together and we kind of mix and mash, and we get rid of what doesn't work. And we are working on the puzzle system now. Similar to games like Portal or Talos Principle, as far as the level design is concerned for certain temples like this. But then the world design outside of this is similar to like Legend of Zelda or Fallout. It's an open world. Oh no, I moved it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we don't have any light spell. We have another. Let's see. We have another mechanic here. There we go. We have another mechanic here that opens doors as well. So we have these ones. You cast a light inside their arms, and then it opens up these doors. That's one mechanic. The other mechanic is the light puzzle, which you see here, which opens up these, which activates those. And then when we have other ones where basically you add those two together, and you'll be able to kind of do things like spin these guys. So you'll have those statues where their arms are up, so you cast a light inside their arms, and then they'll raise their arms, and they'll activate something on these ones. So these ones, let's say, will be spun like to look directly at a wall, for instance. So cast a light on those ones, they'll activate those. These ones will spin around so you can see them, and then you'll cast a light in front of them. So there's just all kinds of like little mini puzzles like that. So the difficulty though is making sure that the player understands the mechanics. And it's one. See, that's weird because that's outside of the radius by at least double. So make sure that the player understands the mechanics without needing to be there to hold their hand through it, because that's just the hardest part. A little bit. There's a little post-processing. We have ambient occlusion on. We have some motion blur, and I don't think we have what's it called? I don't think we have bloom. I was messing around with it out in the overworld, so we're going to be using a little bit of bloom processing, just a little bit of fuzziness for like the sunlight and things. Well, not really sunlight, but like the lights outside. But I don't know if I have it on here. Motion blur, yeah, we have a little bit of bloom. That looks like a lot of bloom. Intensity is 0.8. Yeah, so we are using some. We're using ambient occlusion, fog. Ooh, I'm gonna mess with that. I'm gonna mess with that a little bit later. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for now. We're not using too much. Okay, so this is the entrance. Cool. Okay, so whoa, 804. But yeah, I'm the level designer. My brother Nicholas is the coder, and he helps me with a lot of the level design as well. Actually, I mean he's his favorite, like, our a lot of our favorite games overlap. Like, we both love open world games. We both love action adventure. We both love co-op games, but this is not going to be a co-op. This is going to be our first. This is going to be our fifth major release, but our first one under non-branding, just like our own games. We've released branded games in the past, which is fun, but this one is our own IP. So we're going to release this one. We'd love to work on co-ops in the future. But for now, we want to release something and get it something that we've always wanted to work on, which is like an open world puzzle spellcasting game. So you also craft your own. You craft your spells. You craft there are certain potions you need. There are things to pick up. I just haven't added them in this particular episode, but you can go back in other episodes on our YouTube and check them out. Um, but yeah, so open world, like Legend of Zelda temple type game. Oh, for the games, yeah. Let me see. Do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they're anybody's cup of tea or not. They're significantly different from what we're working on now, but that's our company. That's our two man band there, and you can see our games up in the very top. So we have a game museum at the very top in the header. I don't know if you're on mobile or on PC, but you see MC Lars, The Barn, Dojo Storm. Then our game jams were all the game jams that we've worked on. You might be able to download those as well in the game jam section. And then our game museum is the stuff we worked on a long time ago, like in 2012 and 2013. Um, so that's just stuff that's like kind of how far we've come, where we've come from, blah blah blah. So that's our old work. But yeah, and then I'll bring up the YouTube as well, in case you want to take a look at. I have hour-long episodes from the past 3 or 4 weeks. Let me see here. Let's go to the channel. There we go. Yeah, we have a company. It's Center Steel. That's where we've released all of our games in the past, and that's the banner under which we're going to release this one as well. And that's our YouTube. So on the that's the YouTube playlist. So you can go on there and just click through any of the previous ones and see where we've started. I mean, we started this in November of last year, so we've come quite a long way. Just getting everything down, finding the voice of the game, getting the narrative, things like that. So we're definitely hardcore in, like, deep in this game as far as being excited, figuring, thinking of ideas. We're just constantly working on it. A lot of different things. Our current goal is to get a demo out by the end of summer. We wanted to do it by May, but we might not get out to the end of summer because there's just so many systems we're trying to get implanted in place. So it's just a little, it's tricky. I mean, game dev is very tough. So obviously. Um, but yeah, so be sure to follow and tune in every weekday morning from 7 to 8. I'm always on. So, and also on our Twitter, which is below the video here, our Facebook and Instagram. I'm always keeping up to date with everything that we're doing here as well. So, relatively soon, I think whenever we get done with this Temple of Light, we're going to work hardcore on a website. We're going to get a newsletter, not a newsletter, well, newsletter, but a mailing list, and we'll get all of those actual marketing materials. We want to get something done though. Like, we would like to get something where we can, Yeah, there's just a lot of people putting a lot of things out before they're even like half done with something small. So we want to get this system in place, meaning the temple. Then we get the house system. So you have here and home, like a safe place to be as whenever you're playing the game. Then you have an overworld. So there's basically three systems: overworld, temple systems, and the home system. And you have like the entire spell system that meshes with all three of those. That's the glue for all three. So right now we're in the temple. We have worked on the home system. Let me see here. Oh wait, cancel. Make sure we save. Is it terrain test? This is my dev scene here. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this is just me messing about and trying to figure out certain different art styles and different things that we're going to be implementing within the game. Oh no, poison water. But yeah, so you have a house, a home that you come back to, and you go back and forth outside and in. So that's yeah, that's Spellventure. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the Temple of Light. There we go. There's a Temple of Light. There's 7 temples that you have to gain a spell at each one and pass through each one to then activate the last temple, the Temple of the Dark King Garadon, and you have to kind of dethrone him to, well, you absolutely have to dethrone him, not kind of, to bring light back to this realm. So, yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully I'm not super boring. Yeah, so we're just deving the game. That's all. Join me every day, 7 to 8. I have to get going. I have some additional day work that I have to do. But thank you so much for joining. Thanks for all the questions. Yeah, feel free to join in. Pop in every single day, 7 to 8. If you want to just follow on Twitter, follow on Instagram, I'm always on those as well if you want to shoot a message. All right. Have a good Monday, and thank you again so much for joining in. Ta ta.